Okay, today's adventure brings us to Spiro, North Carolina. Why here, you say? There's actually a whiskey made for this tiny village. It's a very plain looking bottle, but it's extremely rare. There's probably only 2 or 3 ever found. Would there be any here? One of these has got to be where the whiskey bottling operation was, and then they could put it right on the railroad track. I would think one of these 3 structures that is really close to the railroad track would be the whiskey bottling operation or the distillery. And they could just send them off in either direction. But would any of them remain in here? Could be that they threw away some after Prohibition suddenly snuck up on them and they had to get rid of their stuff. I don't know. I'm not even sure exactly where I am on this map because there's no street names. But there is this railroad track and it is right behind me. And I know which direction is north, so that's not too good looking. And then on this side we got even worse looking situation. Gravel and giant tanks of some sort. Okay, here we are, the creek. Unfortunately, I do not have my rubber boots on, so I don't really want to get my feet wet, especially since it's still winter. And I already threw away my spare boots, as you saw in the last video. So we're going to have to walk up on the bank and hope there's not too many trees in the way. Well, the creek is the right size and nice and clear and clean, but I just don't see any sign of anything. Okay, do you see the piece of treasure in this shot right here? I didn't think you would because there isn't any. Okay, now we have left that town. It was very unlikely to find anything there. So I am in Randelman. I have never been here before. It's been on my to-do list for quite some time. And we are checking it out. Here is a potential spot for a dump. There's many hollers in this area. And a river. And a number of creeks. So I don't know where to start. A number of the places I already went by because they just didn't have any parking areas. But I'm going to check this spot out right here. Okay, here's the river. Somewhere along here there should be some dumps because that's just the way it always is. We got a bottle right there. Doesn't look very old. Screw top, but can't really tell. Doesn't look too exciting. And there's another of a different kind right there. Okay, I couldn't quite reach them, so I flicked them over there. They just look like they're from the late 30s. Unembossed, so I'm looking for sodas. Plenty of acreage to check out over here. But what do we have over here? Looks like a rusted out school bus. How did it get over here? I don't know, but I see what looks like a dump over there off that edge. Looks like somebody might have been living in there. There's chairs in it. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a landfill right here. Is it just going to be bricks? Or is there going to be some straight-sided cokes mixed in? That's basically why we're here. This town has a straight-sided coke that's quite rare. That looks pretty old. What kind of vehicle do you suppose that's from? Well, I figured anywhere around here would have to have been explored. And maybe it has. But there's an embossed Coke right on top of the ground right here. Of course, it's not the kind we're looking for, and it's only a patent office. And it's only from Greensboro. But it's got to be worth $3.50, maybe $4, since it's got no caseware at all. Got a tiny creek here, and I see an even older soda bottle. Of course it's broken, but it's a good sign nevertheless. There's a broken halber skirt right there. And another broken bottle of some sort over there. So we might be onto something. That's unexpected. But we are pretty close to town. Hope we're not on somebody's backyard of some sort. I was just wondering where to go next, and I noticed this right on top of the ground. Thought it was going to be blown in the mold, but it's definitely around 100-year-old perfume bottle anyway, so we'll pick that up and get $3 out of it eventually. We got this giant cliff kind of thing going on, and then there's some modern trash thrown off of it. But then I see part of a dead bird next to a cheerwine. It is just from Salisbury. That's super common. And being broken off. Could I saw it off and make a glass out of it? It curves up too much. I don't think it would make a very good glass. And right about now I'm thinking maybe I should bring my rod and reel and tackle box next time I go on a digging trip. I used to be obsessed with fishing as I am with bottle digging now. But now that I'm getting older, maybe I should take up fishing again. It's a lot nicer looking area than where I live, where the water's so dark and dirty. I just don't see how you could catch anything. But here it looks pretty nice. You just never can tell. Sitting at home studying the maps, daydreaming about what it's going to be like when you finally get there. And then you see things like this. No trespassing. Happens all the time. Or you can't see a fence from an aerial Google image, so half the spots you think you're going to go to, you cannot go to. Okay, I think I found the town dump. But I don't want a 1990s dump. I want a 1910 dump. But look at that. Yeah, that definitely looks more than 100 years old, and it's abandoned. And there's this creek right here. There's got to be some bottles somewhere around here. Or at least some pieces of bottles. Because obviously somebody had to have looked for bottles here before. But you know what Brandon always says, the rains will have washed up some new ones since the last people came through. A sandbar and the giant factory, and yet so very little glass is on it. Although this piece could be, definitely almost looks like a piece of black glass. I don't know how old this town goes back to. Yeah, I do see something very old right here. Look at how this is made. It's got to be from the 1800s. What do we got here? Is that a broken Mountain Dew? Nope. If it was, and the paint was good, I would have made a drinking glass out of that. Yeah, there's got to be something here somewhere. Okay, there's some modern soda, but there's one right there. Broken in half, but it does look smaller, so I think it might be an old one. It's the middle of a sunny day, and yet it still looks a little bit creepy over here. I'm sure it's been explored many times, so I'm really mostly here to look for depressions in the ground where there might be some privies. But just in case. Even with all these new pipes installed here, there's always a 1 in a million chance. There is some antique phone batteries. Strange. What is going on here? And further question arises when I see this wall. The back wall collapsed and there's like 100 tons of sawdust, it looks like. I don't know, is that an active business over there? If you enjoy old architecture and creepy places, then here's a video for you. What is the meaning of all these pipes coming through here? I don't know, but a creek just comes out of nowhere right here. There's got to be some bottles down there for sure. We'll get there in a moment. Let's finish the tour of this, because we got a third building coming up. Yeah, what is that? Yeah, our plates got full. Let's abandon it. Okay, let's head down to the water. Pretty neato, but I'm here for bottles. We've got a couple shards anyway. Got a medicine bottle, and then we got possibly early 40s Pepsi right there. A lot of people would leave that, but a lot of people wouldn't. I'm trying to fish it out of there. I don't have those grabber tools like some people. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth bringing back. Probably not. No city on the bottom. So, not too exciting. We got a cork top medicine, but it's broken, and I wouldn't keep it anyway. Is that a long soda bottle over there? Looks like it could be a Pepsi. Found a privy right in the middle of the creek. Or at least a privy seat. Yeah, I don't think we want that. Hopefully we're going to find something. Hopefully the local collectors have not looked here in the last year. And there's the floor for the outhouse privy. And we got a giant sinkhole right there. And a slight one right here. So these are probably privies. But they could just be 1938 or 48 or even 58. And it's a long walk back to my shovel. But I'm going to probe them anyway and see if they feel interesting. Could be hundreds of soda bottles in here. Gotta be a lot of sodas buried around here, you would think. And we got this 120-year-old water tank tower, whatever you call it. Yeah, it's definitely got glass in it. Not a ton of glass though. Still don't like the fact that it's probably too modern. I think we got a better chance with this one since it's less sunken down. That was probably the last one they used. Could even be 1970s for all I know. And back at the tower for a closer view. We have an interesting embankment over here that looks like it has potential for a dump. But as you can see, there's a fence here. I'm really not big on trespassing, contrary to popular beliefs. Not if it's fenced off. Not if it's obvious that you're not supposed to go there. So we'll stay on this side. There's a lot of land and a lot of things to take in. Yet another structure, certainly not as old as those others. But then up ahead we do have a brick structure coming up. I don't even know how people would get over to this spot. There's no roads here. There's got to be all kinds of dumps just hiding right under all these leaves. I used to say before I moved to the south, you could just be walking right on top of bottles and not even know it because you can't see them with all the leaves. Yeah, this is definitely a full day project to explore this area. Yeah, I was just wondering, where could all the depressions for privies be around here? And then I saw one from a long ways off, because it's so obvious. But it might be too big. Looks like a 5-foot square. But we'll test it anyway. Nope, it feels like tight clay. Must be dug for some other purpose. Yeah, every time I turn the camera off, I gotta turn it back on 15 seconds later, because now I'm starting to see scattered bottles. Not super old, but who knows, there could be a milk bottle around here. Definitely a bit of a dump right here. Looking like 50s mostly. Just never can tell where a dump's going to show up at. Some of them are in some incredibly remote areas. I'll get back to you if I see anything more interesting than this. A little too modern for me. I could check this entire hillside and possibly find something. And of course we still got plenty of creek walking to do down there. Okay, we got some definite privies right here. And another there. And another right over here. But as you can see, it's that cement kind. I'm not going to waste my time. Especially since it would be very hard to get back to my car to get the shovel. Because it is like about a half a mile that way. So, yeah. I'm thinking if they had any bottles, they would just, instead of dropping them into the privy, they would just chuck them right down the bank. So, I think I'm going to pass on that. I think I'll go down to the creek and have an easier look for stuff. I see a Coke bottle down there. Probably just going to be an ACL, but let's have a closer look. Yeah, I don't really see the embossing on it. so I'm going to leave it. I never have any luck finding privies for places like this, especially when the ground's all mounded up. I got no idea where the front is and where the back is. This is obviously the front. And we got a brand new chair somebody bought for the ghost that sits here and watches over the place. Taco Bell. Is this a free sample size? Hey man, let's go to Randelman. Well, at least we're getting to see a lot of beautiful scenery on this trip. Not really much in the way of bottles. Yeah, I really wish I had a fishing rod instead. But all I got is this probe. I'm almost set up for dirt fishing today. But according to my map from 107 years ago, there's a very high likelihood there's a dump somewhere along here. Alright, we got a creek right next to the river. Hopefully there'll be something around here. No, I don't really see anything. I just figured that this is the most likely spot in the entire town for a dump to be somewhere really close to here. But no, I haven't given up yet. I actually had a stroke and I actually had a stroke when I made this video, and I'm about 18 or 20 days into it, and I'm still not back yet. I'm still a little bit out of it. I can't quite talk right yet, but yeah. So maybe after another 10 days I'll be back to normal again.